Hey, old curly jaws. You might be the only one in here with me tonight. I was hoping, since I started later, that I would have more people in here. But that might be the case, or may not be the case tonight. Perhaps Dead Pit's doing something, but I figure old curly jaws, if Dead Pit was doing something, you probably would have been in their stream. So I'm not really sure. We might have some people a little later. So, curly jaws, can you hear me okay? I was having a little trouble with my sound, and was getting a lot of feedback, and I had to adjust some settings. So I just want to make sure that people can hear me okay. I don't think I'm going to do my housekeeping stuff because I don't want to bore you guys with all of that. But basically, I just decided to do kind of a last minute. Thank you for the confirmation. I thought I'd do a quick live stream on a couple of things that I got in today from Ronin Flix. I didn't know if they were going to make it in time, because if they had been like real late arriving. Sometimes, for whatever reason, our mail comes like super late. I wouldn't have been able to do it tonight, because I got to get up early for work tomorrow. But since they came in in a reasonable amount of time, and allowed me to get ready for this live stream. Sorry about my throat. My sinuses have been acting up a little bit, so my voice may come and go, which is why I always keep something to drink beside me. But anyway, I thought some people might be interested. Hey, Dirk. I thought some people might be interested in what I actually bought. And there's a little hint about one of the items that I bought, as you can see in the pictures behind me. My green screen's looking a little better today. I had to do some adjusting to it and some adjusting to my lighting and stuff. But not that you guys need to know or care about that. So I don't know which is which. So I'm just going to take the top one here. And I've got my handy dandy box cutter. Be safe with these guys. And I'm just going to open. Thank you, Dirk. Well, that's one thing you and me agree on, old curly jaws. And I hope we're both talking about the 1978 one. Because I do not like that new one. Let's see. Oh, they got it wrapped in some... They got it wrapped in some, like, brown wrapping paper here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and what do you know? I may have already saw that. Oh, let me lay that down there. This is my 4K of I Spit on Your Grave. I know and you guys, or the majority of you guys probably remember when I was talking about the Blu-ray set that I got that had I Spit on Your Grave, I Spit on Your Grave, like Deja Vu, which is an awful movie, and basically the only reason I got it was, well, for two reasons. One, it came in that set, and two, for the Joe Bob Briggs commentary, which would be the only reason, I think, for watching that ever again. But this is just the 4K. It also has a Blu-ray with the growing up with I Spit on Your Grave, the little documentary on the movie that Marizarki's son, Terry, I believe, put together. There's actually 3 discs with this set, and granted, I'm just now opening this, hadn't had a chance to watch it, so I can't really. Think it's reconnected now. That happens from time to time, unfortunately. But anyway, I hopefully can tell you guys about the quality soon on this. But you do get 3 discs, as I said. You get the first disc is the 4K. Dirk, you say y'all buy a lot of imports. I have been buying more. What, in your opinion, is some of the best places to buy them? To buy imports? Well, if you want them pretty quickly and you want to get them from a place that breaks street date, I would highly recommend Diabolic DVD. And don't let Diabolic DVD fool you. And of course, Dirk, you may have purchased things from them before. Don't let the DVD and the title of their company fool you. They have both Blu-rays and I believe 4Ks as well. And I didn't even know they broke street date. Steve was the one that let me know about them breaking street date, and honestly, I don't know how entirely legal that is, but perhaps Diabolic has a repertoire with some of these distribution companies, and they've gotten permission to do that. Maybe these distribution companies send so many copies to Diabolic, and then they're allowed to put those out a little bit earlier. Now, with that being said, there is usually I believe $5 shipping charge, and I can't recall if that's per movie or per package. I'm hoping it's per package, and that's probably the case. But if you don't mind spending that extra money, then I would definitely go with Diabolic. Zavvi USA is another one that they have a pretty quick turnaround time. I don't think they break street date, but they do, once an item is released, and if they've got it in stock and you purchase it from them, I feel like it's a pretty quick turnaround time. Hey, Chris V. But let's see, I'm trying to, and occasionally I'll get things directly from Arrow videos sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes I do. But I'm guessing that's probably the big ones that I go for when I'm wanting imports. But that was a good question. But as I was saying, there's 3 discs with this. You get the 4K scan from the original camera negative on the first disc. You get audio commentary with writer and director Mayor Zarki, which I do not believe this is a new commentary. I think this is a commentary from way back when Elite Entertainment put out I Spit on Your Grave, if any of you guys remember that. There's also audio commentary with film critic Joe Bob Briggs, for you Joe Bob Briggs fans. And again, I believe that is the same commentary that was ported over from the Elite Entertainment disc. And there's also a theatrical trailer on that disc. Disc 2 is a Blu-ray. You get a 4K scan from the original camera negative of the film. You get a new location featurette, which I'm trying to remember. I think that is on my other set, my Blu-ray set. But if you guys haven't purchased that and were holding out till this 4K came out, which is probably what I should have done, but I didn't, then you'll be able to watch that location featurette. There's audio commentaries, writer and director Marzarki. Again, I think that's the same commentary, and also the audio commentary with Joe Bob Briggs is the same as well. There's an interview with writer and director Marzarki. The Values of Vengeance. Marzarki remembers I Spit on Your Grave. Alternate main title, which I'm sure is the Day of the Woman title. Theatrical trailer, TV spots, radio spots, and still gallery. Disc 3 has deleted scenes, and Terry Zarke's 8mm film starring Camille Keaton. That's the one growing up with I Spit on Your Grave. Keep in mind that that is not in 4K, that is only on Blu-ray. And then there's also home movies, Camille and Mayor Zarke's wedding, and a trailer as well. So, again, I'll have to get back to you on the actual quality of the 4K. I like the quality of the Blu-ray. Both the Blu-ray that came out before that set and then the one actually on the set was probably similar or the same. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, I wish they'd do a documentary about this film. Well, actually, as I mentioned, the Growing Up with I Spit on Your Grave is on here. I have seen it. It is a great documentary. And that's probably, at this time, that's probably the closest thing you're going to get to a documentary on I Spit on Your Grave. And it's really good. Oh, Curly Jaws, I highly, highly recommend it. If you have the ways and means to watch the movie in 4K, you could just get this set and you would have it all. Or if you only have the ways and means to watch it in Blu-ray, then I would suggest that the box set that I got a little while back. Dirk, you say, I might have to get this. I don't own it. Might be the time to grab it. I highly, I know it seems weird that a woman talks about this movie so highly. But it's not, I don't love it because there's rape in it, and brutal rape at that. There's a lot of qualities of this movie that I really like, that I think it's well made for a low budget 1978 movie. I really think it is well made. I think Camille Keaton, this may sound a little weird, but I think Camille Keaton was made for this part of Jennifer Hills, the unfortunate young woman in the film that gets brutally gang raped. And it might sound weird for me to say this as well, but not only is the rape in there, but you have the revenge in there. And I don't I don't want people to get killed, but it's like these guys, the characters within the film, got their comeuppance, and it was sort of like the old Tales from the Crypt, the EC Comics stuff, where you do bad things, something bad is going to happen to you. This has always been, despite the rape, the very brutal rape within it, has always been one of my favorite, I guess, exploitation films would be the best way to describe it. The rape is hardcore in my opinion. Marzarki does not shy away from anything when he was filming this. It's in your face, it's brutal, it's uncompromising, but I think what Marzarki was trying to do was show you the actual brutality of rape and what a woman unfortunately must go through when this horrible thing happens to her. And actually, before Marzarki made the film, he saw a woman who had been brutally raped, and I think he was probably trying to say a lot of things in this movie about, like I said, the actual brutality of rape. This isn't sugar coated. I think sometimes when rape is portrayed in film, they sugarcoat it a little bit. And I'm glad that Miyazaki did not sugarcoat it in this film, because it showed you a more realistic view of rape. So, I got to really kind of going on and on about that. Chris V, you say really good transfer, totally worth the upgrade. So, Chris V, I'm assuming that you got yours in as well. Curly Jaws, you say you're about to pick this up. Definitely, yeah. Get this one while you can. You'd like to see Rob Zombie remake it? Well, I kind of maybe would like to see what Rob Zombie could do with it, because the white trash elements that he tries to throw into most every film he does would probably be right at home in a film like this. Durkee said, no, not at all. It's a great revenge film, and she kicks ass. She definitely does. And a few years back, and I may have told you guys this before in another live stream, several years back actually, Steve and I met Camille Keaton at I believe a Days of the Dead convention. And she was really sweet and super nice. And I had a I Spit on Your Grave mini poster, which she signed for me. And I think she had something to the effect of woman power or something on there. And yeah, I had a nice conversation with her as well. Chris V, you say it's definitely a pro-woman film. I completely agree with that statement, which is why I don't understand why so many critics hated this movie. And insinuated that it made rape look glamorous. There is nothing glamorous about the rape scenes in this movie. They're dirty, they're gritty, they're brutal, and uncompromising, as I said. Durkee said they definitely deserve it, and the payoff is great. Yeah. I don't know if I told you guys about this before, but when I was, a lot of my stories about horror movies and exploitation movies and stuff seem to, well, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but it might seem kind of weird. But just about all my stories about movies like this, or just straight out horror movies, seem to have happened in the 12 to 13 age range for me. And so it was right about that age range that my parents rented I Spit on Your Grave and watched it. This was one movie, and I'm thankful that they did now. I didn't understand back then because I was just a kid. But when I was actually old enough to get my own copy of it, which was actually a VHS, a clamshell VHS from Amazon, was the first copy I ever got for myself and allowed me to be able to watch it. But way back when my parents rented it, my mom especially suggested that, Dana, this might be a little rough for you. Why don't you wait until you're older to watch it? So I was kind of relegated to my bedroom. And like I said, this is probably one of the only times that my parents ever did that, for which I'm now thankful. But I could still hear the audio. And so when it got to the part where she was actually getting her revenge, and you could hear things like the boat motor and the guy screaming, and the guy screaming when he gets his penis cut off in the bathtub and stuff. Keep in mind, I was only hearing the audio. And so I thought I was missing one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Come to find out years later, it was a rape revenge movie and not necessarily a horror movie. Dirk, you said maybe if Rob didn't write the dialogue. Yeah, he'd probably have them saying fuck every 5 seconds or something. Chris V, you say, I actually got that in over a month ago. Did it just get released? If so, someone must have messed up sending it out to me so early. Well, Chris V, did you actually get it from Ronin Flix? Because a funny thing I did notice, right before I ordered this from Ronin Flix, I was just kind of perusing Amazon and looking at the new releases. And Amazon had originally listed I Spit on Your Grave 4K as coming out this month in March. I think like March 8th or something like that. Then I noticed they pushed it back to April. So I looked up and saw that Ronin Flix was the company that was putting this out. So I went and checked Ronin Flix's page, and actually they were saying that it was available in October of last year. So I really don't understand. I mean, Steve told me that, hey, it's Ronin Flix. They're the company that's distributing it. They can put it out anytime they want. I said, yeah, I understand that, but I don't know what the holdup with Amazon is. Were they having to wait for copies to actually be sent to them or what? But that's why I ended up going with Ronin Flix, because it was the same price. So I didn't see why I couldn't just go ahead and get it. So they probably didn't mess up sending it out to you early. I think just for whatever reason, Amazon's delayed in getting their copies. Dirk, you said they didn't watch it all the way through. Perhaps that could be entirely true. Hey, Jay. I did get the I Spit on Your Grave box, the 4K one. Yes, I did. Hey, John Crisp. You say there's so many Blu-rays I'm behind on. I financially can't keep up with Vinegar Syndrome in those places. I go for the $10 and under stuff. Oh, John, I can't keep up with that stuff either. I depend a lot of times, like Steve will be at work and he'll be like, he looks at that Dawn of the Discs a lot of times. I need to start looking at that more. I believe they have a Facebook page. He stays pretty heavy into that, and he hears about all these new releases and lets me know about things like New Year's Evil that's going to be coming out on a new Blu-ray soon. He let me know about, I think actually Vinegar Syndrome. Is it Vinegar Syndrome? It's either Vinegar Syndrome or Severin that's going to put out X-Ray and Schizoid together on a double feature. So I'm excited about that. So I would suggest, if you guys are having trouble keeping up with all the new releases, is check out the Facebook page for Dawn of the Discs, and it might be helpful. Chris V, you say, I think the first set with the new film in it was the one that came out in October. Glad I waited. Hey, Texas. You say, well, there's time with Severin that I got my stuff early before other places got them to sell. Yeah, Severin and Vinegar Syndrome both, some of these boutique labels, if you get it directly from them, you can get it earlier than places like Amazon. Curly Jaws, you say, I like to see Lake Placid get a Vinegar Syndrome release. It might do it. You never know. You never know, Curly Jaws. You never know what they're going to put out. So, anyway, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if it's something with OBS or it's our internet. It's probably our freaking internet. But I was just, before I moved on, I was just going to see what the audio was, and it looks like we don't get Dolby Atmos, which some of you may be thinking, well, who cares if you get Dolby Atmos? But because we've got the speaker setup that we've got, I love having, the chance to listen to things through with the Dolby Atmos sound. John, you say, yeah, true about Dawn of the Disc. I put Waxwork Records priority. Vestron has good prices, though. Exactly. Okay, so, moving right along, we're going to open up this other one, which, no hints on what this one is. I mean, I know what it is, but hopefully they sent me the right thing. So, here I thought I was going to get one of those big Ronin Flix boxes like I got with my I Spit on Your Grave, like the Blu-ray set that I got, and Stu was like, no, that's only like special editions or something, special box sets. I was like, okay. Okay, again, this is in brown paper. So I'm going to lay that box down there. And we're going to see what we got here. Ta-da! It's Lucio Fulci's The Gates of Hell, or City of the Living Dead. Isn't that an awesome cover? I think it's an awesome cover. Now, for those of you that watch a lot of Steve's live streams or hear him talk about, stuff he's gotten, you may have seen that he already has a copy of this. And if he finds out I've got a copy of this, he's going to say, why in the world did you do that? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what the huge reason why I bought this particular one, even though Steve has it already, is because The Gates of Hell, aka City of the Living Dead, is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. This is a movie that you guys, I'm sure, have heard me talk about numerous times, that this was the movie that my mom and dad went to the drive-in and saw, and my dad talked about it for years before I was even able to find a copy to rent. And from then on, I was hooked. I was hooked on Fulci. And I mean, my mom and dad didn't even know about Fulci or anything like that. So, they just knew that it was a horror movie. It was playing at the drive-in. They went to see it. This is a Scorpion release. It is a Blu-ray, not a 4K. I can't wait till there is actually a 4K of this. I'm like really looking forward to that, which I think will eventually happen because you've got House by the Cemetery and stuff like that on 4K. Dirk, you say you remember DVD menus being more interactive. And you say you do love Blu-rays and 4Ks, but is it just me? The menus aren't as good as DVD menus? Dirk, I've actually noticed that. We have some really plain Jane menus sometimes, even with the 4Ks, and with the increase in technology and stuff that allows 4Ks and Blu-rays to even be made. I don't know why the menus aren't more interactive. Maybe there's something that I don't know that makes them unable to make those particular menus on the other discs. But I don't really understand what that would be. I know I have made, I'm not a professional by any means, but I have made my own DVDs using Adobe Encore DVD, which is a great program if you want to make your own DVDs with menus and, where you can actually click on it to play the movie or click on something to go to special features that you've made. Say you're a filmmaker that makes their own short films or something. You could use Adobe Encore DVD and make semi-professional looking discs that way. Let's see. Well, thank you, Dirk. I think it's badass too. I mean, that's a badass movie. Jay, you say, wait, that's back in stock. Well, from what I could tell on Ronin Flix's site, they said that Scorpion dug up some more copies of it. So I guess if you wanted to go to Ronin Flix and see if they've still got some in, that would probably be your best bet at this point. Curly Jaws, you say, what do you think the best zombie film of all time is? To me, it's Survival of the Dead. Oh, God, that's a hard one, old Curly Jaws. I mean, I'm almost tempted to say Dawn of the Dead, but then, you know, I like stuff like this, and I like Fulci's Zombie, and, you know, it's almost impossible for me to pick a favorite zombie film because I have so many favorites. Jay, you said, God damn it, Dana, how did you get this? Thought it was sold out. Love Gates to Hell. Saw it as a teen. Got the Arrow City of the Living Dead box. What's this disc have that's not on the Arrow? Well, actually, let's see. We'll tell everybody. We get a new 2020 4K color grading and restoration of the film from a 4K scan of the original camera negative. Again, this is not an actual 4K. It is a Blu-ray. You get new audio commentary with film historians Troy Howarth and Nathaniel Thompson, which I'm looking forward to listening to that. Those are the two like new things on here. Audio commentary with director of photography Sergio Salvati and camera operator Roberto Forges, I'm sure I'm massacring these names, Davazzati, moderated by film professor Paolo Ibero. And keep in mind that's in Italian with English subtitles. We Are the Apocalypse, an interview with writer Dardano Sacchetti. Through Your Eyes, an interview with actress Catriona McCall. Dust in the Wind, an interview with camera operator Robert Forges Davanzati. The Art of Dreaming, an interview with production designer Massimo Antonello Gelling. Tales of Friendship, an interview with cinematographer Sergio Salvati. I Walked with a Zombie, an interview with Giovanni Lombardo Radice. That's my man there. I love that guy. They call him Bombardone, an interview with special effects artist Gino De Rossi. The Horror Family, an interview with father and son actors Valentino and Benentino and Luca Benentini. Building Fulci City, a video appreciation by Stephen Thrower, author of Beyond Terror, the films of Lucio Fulci, which I always love Stephen Thrower stuff. Reflections of Fulci, a new appraisal of Fulci's Gothic period by actor, writer, and director Andy Nyman, Ghost Stories. The Dead Are Alive, a video essay by Kat Ellinger on Lucio Fulci and the Italian zombie cycle. And alternate title sequences, trailers and TV spots, and radio spots. Aaron Fry, this was like... It was a last minute thing because I did not know if my stuff was going to come in time for me to do one of these. Damn, I gave you plenty of notice, didn't I? Like, I didn't even start this thing until 8 o'clock. And then you have to go through my intro and all that. So we actually didn't get started till after 8 o'clock. You know what the good thing is, though, about these being on YouTube is you can go back and watch them or rewatch them. Can't interact like we are now, but anyways. Dark, you say, I just can't go against the the original Gangster White Zombie. It was the first zombie movie I saw in Bela Lugosi as a man. I like Bela Lugosi a lot. I don't know that I have seen White Zombie. I may need to see that. I bet Steve's got a copy somewhere that I could watch. And Chris V, you say White Zombie is great. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, what did you think of Diary of the Dead? I thought that was a classic. Oh, Curly Jaws, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just saying, like, I felt like Diary of the Dead was when Romero's zombie film started to go off the rails. I did not like that movie at all. I would much rather go back to Romero's earlier stuff. And I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead because George Romero sadly is no longer with us. I have still the utmost respect for George Romero as a filmmaker. It's just I don't understand if what happened there, if Hollywood got too involved or what happened. And it's more than likely not George Romero's fault that some of those later zombie or dead films turned out so badly. I think that was probably more a studio pressure thing than anything. So I haven't watched Diary of the Dead for a long time, but I remember not liking it at all. And not liking the characters, not liking the storyline, not liking anything. And that's probably why I didn't watch, I guess, Land of the Dead and Survival of the Dead at all. Just because I was so turned off by Diary of the Dead. I'd go back to the original stuff. Even Night of the Living Dead. Steve doesn't even like Night of the Living Dead. I mean, he likes Dawn of the Dead okay, and Day of the Dead and stuff like that, but not Night of the Living Dead. And I absolutely love Night of the Living Dead. I remember the first time I rented that one and was just, I guess, astounded at the quality that Romero put into that film. Some little black and white film from the late 60s. And how he made it great. Oh, well, Jay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize Ronin Flix doesn't ship to Japan. If you don't ship to Japan, don't call yourself Ronin. That's kind of weird. That's weird. It's like Cowboy Flix not shipping to Kansas or Denver, or Texas or something like that. Well, if I see anywhere else that they have it, have you checked on eBay at all, Jay, to see if maybe you could get a copy? I don't know how expensive they would be at this point. Dirk, you say, I do think my favorite zombie scene is Fulci's zombie. That shark scene always blows my mind. I really like the shark scene. But I'll tell you what, I think the shark scene is so amazing because I'd never seen anything quite like that before or since. But I think my favorite scene in Zombie is when the featured zombie rises up real quick, and I think he kills the one chick that's like pretty much nude when she's scuba diving. See. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, highly recommend Land of the Dead and Survival of the Dead. Those are some of the best zombie films. Well, I'm not going to rule it out that I will never see them, oh, Curly Jaws. I'm still, pretty open to it. And you say, what the fuck? How can he not like Night of the Living Dead? Well, I mean, I don't think he hates it. It's just not, like, I've tried to get him to watch it with me sometimes, and he just shows absolutely no interest. eBay, I don't want to kick a Milky. Texas, you say, Curly Jaws, I figured you would be a fan of Juan of the Dead. Yeah, I remember that One of the Dead, but I don't think that I watched it. I think what is, this is my personal opinion. You can take it or leave it, but I think where zombie films or Walking Dead films or whatever you want to call it went off the rails is when it became like housewives were liking stuff like The Walking Dead and stuff like that. When it became cool to be a zombie fan. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I like things better when they were on the fringes. I don't want this stuff going mainstream and like your mom's watching it and stuff like that. That's not what this is supposed to be about. And my mom watched Walking Dead for a long time, and I think maybe her and Dad are still watching it. And I on the other hand, started out watching Walking Dead, but tuned out after about the third season when they killed Herschel off. Chris V, you say not liking Night of the Living Dead is an interesting take for sure. You don't hear that much. No, you actually don't. Is it good? Okay, well maybe I need to check it out sometime. Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, Jay. I am glad you brought that up. I was a late bloomer when it came to that movie. I did not even know really a whole lot about that movie until I believe Wes or CK from Dead Pit started talking about it, and then I think Steve actually got a copy of it and we watched it. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say I need to start taking requests for movie reviews. Well, you guys have already thrown some movies at me, so I may, that may be something that we want to do on some of these live streams. I'll just have a review show where I talk about the different movies that you guys have suggested that I'll watch. Dirk, you say Night of the Living Dead broke your damn VHS and retaped it with... Oh, you broke your damn VHS and retaped it with some scotch and kept her going. There you go. Yeah, sometimes we have to do that. We definitely have to do that. Chris V, you say Dawn remake was beginning of the end for zombie films. Yeah, I could definitely see that too, Chris V. Jay, you say Dana likes the party before the parents. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when housewives start, and some of you guys may consider me a housewife now because I'm married and stuff. I don't have kids, but I got plenty of fur babies. I guess that's the equivalent of having about 5 kids. They're just not human kids. They're doggies. Plus, I have a ton of other animals. But what I'm saying is when stuff starts going mainstream, that just usually kills it for me. And, when Walking Dead first started, I still felt like it was still on the fringes. Then it just became commercialized. And speaking of commercials, have you guys noticed right about the time that Walking Dead got super popular, they started having freaking zombies in commercials? And I'm like, no, God, no. Don't do this to us. We can't, us horror fans cannot have anything anymore that is just ours. They have to commercialize the hell out of it and just almost strangle the life out of it. I was watching Almost Famous again the other day, my 4K, and when Philip Seymour Hoffman plays Lester Bangs in the movie, for those of you that have seen the movie will know, and he makes a lot of comments that I'm sure were attributed to the real Lester Bangs about music becoming an industry of cool and all of that. And I think that is what is starting, or has already, it's already set in motion, that horror films are starting to become cool now. So the horror film industry is becoming an industry of cool. In the same way that the Lester Bangs character, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman in Almost Famous, was talking about music, rock music becoming an industry of cool, and it would strangle everything that the fans loved about it. And I see that, unfortunately, happening to horror. I don't think that our horror will ever completely go away. But it's being, it almost seems like it's being fizzled out a little bit by this new Hollywood horror, this cool horror, that everybody's mother likes and all that. It's just, it's very depressing in a lot of ways. Jay, you say after Shaun of the Dead was the end of the zombie film. And I actually like Shaun of the Dead. I mean, I like the introduction of that comedic element. Curly Jaws, you say absolutely love Shaun of the Dead. Chris V, you say 28 Days Later is probably the last super good one, in my opinion. I like 28 Days Later, okay, but I know Dead Pit and others have had discussions about, are those really zombies? Are they infected people? My take on it is, if they are zombies, I don't really like my zombies to be fast. I like them to be slow and lumbering and all of that, like Romero zombies. I don't like for them to be like way back here and then all of a sudden they're up in your face, unless it's like Fulci Zombie, where the people are already in where the graves are at, and they just kind of spring up and kill them. Jay, you say everything that gets popular gets co-opted by corporations and thus gets watered down, made safe, bland, palatable for all. Yet we like things spicy and rough around the edges. And I see that too, but I also see things becoming... and I don't want to sound prudish by saying this, but with things like Hostel and stuff, I see an extra increase in vulgarity, in sex, in torture, not just like seeing somebody get their head cut off or their arm cut off or their intestines falling out. I'm talking about the stuff where you have 90 minutes or more of somebody being tortured or treated worse than an animal. I would hope people would not treat their animals like this. I've seen movies where people are treated like livestock. And again, I would hope you would treat your livestock better than these people were treated in this movie. And I'm sorry, I'm just not into watching people be tortured for 90 or more minutes. And they came out with the torture porn type stuff, and I'm just so over that kind of stuff. I never was a fan of it. And now we've got this new horror or woke horror or whatever you want to call it. And I don't like that stuff either. I'm guessing like Hereditary is that type of new horror. And actually, speaking of Hereditary, I've said before I hated Hereditary so much that I won't watch Midsummer. But I had a couple of co-workers tell me that I need to watch Midsummer, and that perhaps maybe I need to give Hereditary another try, but I don't know if I can get past that annoying family in Hereditary to be able to watch it again. Dirk, you say Warm Bodies and Fido. I never watched either one of those. I mean, Warm Bodies seem slightly interesting for about 2 seconds, and then it wasn't to me anymore. Dirk, you say Army of the Dead was like, what in the hell is going on around here? That is exactly what I say when I'm watching some of the stuff. What in the hell is going on around here? What the hell has happened to like the horror movies that we used to watch? And I think Steve tells me I want to watch the same old shit over and over again. And I'm like, because they're not putting anything good out. No. If they were, I would be watching that. I liked my Conjuring movies. I liked Insidious. I like stuff like that. You guys have heard me talk about things like the Atticus Institute and the Taking of Deborah Logan. I like stuff like that because it's creepy and stuff and really gets under your skin. So it's not like I hate all new stuff. It's just that, like, things have changed so much as far as horror movies in a short amount of time. I guess I thought things was going to keep going on like they were, like with Scream and stuff. I thought Scream was like a new, I thought this is going to introduce a whole new generation to horror movies, and it's fun and wacky and like it's making fun of the genre, but in a nice way, in a fun way, and you can wink at the person watching the movie with you and be like, we get it, but now it doesn't seem like you can do that with stuff anymore. Nothing's fun anymore. Or not very many things are fun. Curly Jaws, you say Flight of the Living Dead is another classic. Chris V, you say Hereditary was way overrated, but Midsommar is a masterpiece. Now, with you saying that, Chris V, I sincerely trust your opinion. I'm thinking I'm going to give this a try just because so many people have said it's good. Or great, or a masterpiece. So, I'm definitely, I guess, going to have to reconsider watching it. Now, Steve's probably got a copy of it around here somewhere that I could watch too. Curly Jaws, you say The Conjuring 3 is the best one. Now, in my opinion, I like the earlier Conjurings, especially the first Conjuring. The first Conjuring just absolutely blew me away. And it was a theater experience for me and Steve, and I thought that was great, just watching the rows of people jump every time something would happen. The only downside was Steve ended up sitting beside this young kid that he shouldn't have even been in there. Was sitting with his mom, I guess, and he kept asking her questions about the movie. Excuse me. And Steve got so aggravated that I finally switched seats with him so he wouldn't be sitting right beside this kid. Durgy said, the first watch on Hereditary, I didn't like it that much, but after a second watch, I started seeing hidden things I didn't notice for, which made it creepy as hell. See, and that kind of reminds me, I guess, of the Exorcist effect. I'm sure a lot of you, unless you just absolutely hate the Exorcist, have probably over the time seen the director's cut, or at one time it was called The Version You've Never Seen, with a lot of subliminal stuff that showed up. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa, wow, that's creepy. And I'm not just talking about the spider walk scene, which was kind of overt and in your face and stuff. I'm talking about like when the mother would close the door and you'd see a flash of Captain Howdy's face or something like that. It was just really cool, that kind of stuff. And you saw Pazuzu, in one scene. When the lights are blinking on and off, you could see little, I think that was probably where you saw the Captain Howdy face show up and all that. Jay, you say the I Spit on Your Grave fan complain about super violent, mean horror. Yeah, I feel you. Style and fun monster gore seems to be way out of style. Yeah, it probably does seem weird that somebody that likes this movie, I Spit on Your Grave, would be complaining about super violent, mean horror. But the thing to remember about I Spit on Your Grave is it's not just a rape movie, it's a rape revenge movie. And I think having that revenge in there is what redeems this movie and keeps this movie from just being just pure exploitation and nothing else, in my opinion. Dirk, you say Ari Aster did both. He made a very dark film, then made a very bright film, but he says Midsommar is not a horror film. Well, okay, I want to see what your take is on it, Dirk. Do you consider Midsommar a horror film? Do you think this guy is just saying that to, like a lot of directors over time have said, it's not really a horror film, it's a thriller or whatever. With horrific elements, because they're trying to hide the fact that something is obviously a horror film. So do you feel like it's not really a horror film, Dirk, or do you feel like the director is kind of trying to hide something? Oh, Curly Jaws, it's been a while since I've seen Hard Candy, but I really liked the way that one was set up. And it had me going for a long time before I actually figured out what exactly was going on with that movie. So, yeah, I liked it. I need to go back and revisit it, actually. Chris V, you say, I guess Midsommar might not be a horror film now that I think of it. It's definitely horrifying in parts. Okay. Jay, you say it's a psychological thriller. You being sarcastic there, Jay? Because I know that's what some directors have said about different things. You guys were talking about or asking me, I think maybe Jay was asking me when I was going to do my cooking show, which actually won't be able to be a live stream, unfortunately. It'll probably have to be pre-recorded and then put on YouTube. But if I can get Steve to film it for me, I am planning on making some more chocolate cupcakes for April Fool's Day, but actually making the sugar glass pieces to put in there, just to have some little thing that's like has a horror element to the April Fool's Day thing. So maybe I can get Steve to film that when I'm actually making the sugar glass and stuff. To be my first time making sugar glass, actually. Derek, you feel Midsommar is horror. I guess I'm going to have to just break down and watch that sucker so I can see for myself. Because it looks like we got 2 or 3 schools of thought here. Jay, it's New England sarcasm. Gotcha. Curly Jaws, you say, have you seen the trailer for Jordan Peele's Nope? I have not. But, Curly Jaws, I'll be honest, I'm not a real big Jordan Peele fan. And no, this is not racist. It's not any sort of racism at all. It's just that I liked Get Out, but I haven't liked anything that Jordan Peele has done since, including I have no interest in watching the Twilight Zone stuff that he's doing. I'll stick with either the classic Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone, or the Twilight Zone from the 80s when I was growing up. Texas, you say Midsummer is a brilliant children's film fun for the whole family. Jay says, have you seen the 1970s Female Prisoner Scorpion series, Good Female Revenge series? Actually, I've seen parts of some of those, Jay, because I bought Steve the set for Christmas like a couple of years back. And so I have not like sat down and watched a whole film of that series, but I have seen pieces. And it appears to be like a women in prison type of setup, but I could be wrong on that. Oh, definitely, Dirk. I feel that Silence of the Lambs is horror too. I mean, there's no way around that, I don't think. Dirk, you said maybe directors trying to win awards by not calling it horror. Probably because they, horror is generally not well regarded in awards circles, awards programs, and stuff like that. Chris V, I would say 7 is horror. It's been a while since I've seen 7, but definitely seems pretty horrific to me. Durkee said, did you like Revenge? I'm trying to remember. Refresh my memory on Revenge. I'm not sure if I have seen it or I've seen it and I forgot that I've seen it or what. Durkee said, I think so. It definitely has all the elements. And Chris V, you say agreed. But I've actually, speaking of cupcakes, I've actually got some cupcakes cooling back there that I'm going to put some of that red icing on. They're not heart-shaped this time because we're past February. I'm thinking about making some for Easter, but not with a horror theme to them because I'm probably going to see if my nephews want to have some. And not that they're scared of horror stuff. They like zombie stuff and things like that. But just I thought I would take a break from the horror cupcake making and just make like little bunny rabbit face ones if I can get some silicone baking cups for that. Curly Jaws, you say, what are some remakes that you think are better than the original? For me, it would be the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, the Psycho remake, the Friday the 13th remake, the Evil Dead remake, came in 2022. Okay. As I've said before, the only stuff that I think should be remade is really old stuff. For instance, I loved what Savini did with Night of the Living Dead. I still love the classic, original Romero classic, but I really think Savini did an excellent job with that. So that Night of the Living Dead 90 is one. The Fly remake that Cronenberg did is one. Invasion of the Body Snatchers from the 70s with Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Jeff Goldblum. I think that is a fantastic remake. I'm trying to think if there are any more. Those are like my big ones that I really think that I saw areas where not necessarily they improved, but they enhanced it. They enhanced the original. Okay, Dirk. See, I'm not so sure that I've seen that one. If that was from 2017. Chris V, you want to know if I like red velvet cupcakes? Okay, here's my thing about red velvet anything. Is a long time ago, my mom, I believe she made a red velvet cake. And for some reason, I don't know if it was the coloring of it or what, that looked so rich that I thought this was really going to have a deep chocolatey taste. For whatever reason, that's what I thought. And I'm a huge chocolate fan. So I was disappointed whenever I tried this red velvet cake because it just seemed so bland based on what I thought it was going to be. So I would have to say no, I don't like red velvet cupcakes. They look cool. But as far as eating them, no. Um, Dirk, it's a French film and it's on Shudder. Okay, well, I may have to check that out. Jay, you say Scream remake that parodies elevating the woke car. There you go. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, have you seen The Strangers That Pray at Night? Now, that's a fantastic slasher. I have seen it, and I have seen the original Strangers, and honestly, I can't say that I liked either one of them. There were, I get, maybe I'm too dumb to understand what they were trying to do with those films. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Everything in a horror film does not need to make sense. I mean, it's a horror film, but I didn't understand anything about those films. I didn't understand who these killers were, where they came from. I mean, they didn't give us anything. It's just like they just showed up and asked for somebody that obviously did not live in this house. And the only thing creepy was about it, in my opinion, was those damn masks they had on. Dirk, say, oh, Curly, are you serious on all these Candyman versus white people was a piece of shit? And you, oh, Curly Jaws, you say, love new Candyman, it was dope. You know, Dirk, sometimes I wonder if Curly Jaws is yanking our chain by coming up with movies that most everybody thinks is horrible. But, you know, to each his own. If he really likes this stuff, then I say more power to him. Sometimes it's harder to admit that you like something that everybody else or most people hate so much. So I say hats off to you, Curly Jaws, if you really do like this stuff. But I didn't plan to be on here actually this long. But I've had a good conversation with all of you guys. I thank so many of you for showing up tonight. Just to watch me open a couple of boxes and talk about a couple of films I got. But we had a good discussion about a few other things. Yes, how could I forget the Thing 82 remake? And Dirk, you brought that up before, I believe. That is also in my wheelhouse of favorite remakes. I absolutely love that one. I watched that one again not very long ago, actually. But as I was going to say, I think I'll probably give it a minute or two more before I get off here, in case you guys want to, you know, put anything in the chat or ask me anything real quick. But again, I thank you guys for the Blob. That's another good one, Jay. Thank you for bringing that one up as well. Dirk, you said it's always good to hang out with all y'all. I like hanging out with you guys too. I consider you guys friends. You guys are here. Basically, the same guys pretty much are here for all my live streams. And that makes me feel good. That it makes me feel like I'm getting an audience maybe for these things. And I'm hoping the more I do them and the more I improve, maybe they'll get more popular. Well, you're welcome, Chris V. I really enjoyed it. You have a good night. Jay, you tell me, don't feel dumb for not liking those movies, Daner. Well, you know, I just think maybe there was something that I was missing, or that perhaps I'm not intelligent enough to catch these little nuances that make some people like these movies or love these movies. But you know, I don't feel dumb for too long, so you know, I'll think about it for a little bit and then go on. It's not one of those things. Fortunately, I don't dwell on it. But I think I'm gonna as I've said before, skedaddle on out of here for the night and put some frosting on my cupcakes. Get one for Steve for tomorrow. And I'll be back at some point, possibly with another horror convention experiences live stream. Y'all seem to like that last one I did, those of you that were in there. And yeah, I'll see everybody on the flip side. Y'all have a good night.